Here I am out in the world battling the endless battle against litter and the war on crisp packets. Now, a good friend of mine, he enjoys teasing me for moving into the thrilling viral social media content world of making videos about picking up litter. And he thinks I should be doing something bigger and more important with my time. That moaning about litter is a very privileged thing to be worrying about given the state of the world right now. With wars on our TV screens, squash toes, wars on our TV screens, and horrible stuff happening, and the collapse of our health service. Haven't I got anything better to be doing than grumbling about a few scallies throwing a crisp packet down by the road? But here is why I secretly think that this discarded crisp packet is the key to saving the world. Hear me out. Okay. Why does somebody feel the need to drop a crisp packet by the side of the road? Because they've finished their snack, obviously. But maybe if they ate an apple and lobbed the core away instead, we'd be starting to tackle the epic problems of bad diets leading to poor health, leading to overcrowded hospitals, and unhealthy, unfit, he says, huffing and puffing up this hill, unfit people are much less likely to be out running over the hills, becoming inspired to connect with nature and save the wild world. And perhaps the crisp packet getting onto his soapbox now is also an indicator of not just our bad diet, but also an unawareness of what goes into our food, or where our food comes from in the first place, and then from the gargantuan impact of our food choices on the environment. You know, even, this is crazy, even if we stopped all of the world's fossil fuels emissions today, the Earth is still set to go over the 1.5 degree temperature emergency threshold level, simply because of the food choices we make and the disastrous food system we've ended up with. Think emissions from livestock, deforestation for agriculture, food waste. Now, some people might see this crisp packet lying there and just tut at the bad behaviour of the lout who left it there, and then go home and be a good citizen and drop their own crisp packet in the bin. But what's the difference, really? You know, in the grand scheme of things, is a crisp packet lying on the verge, made of plastic, not going to biodegrade for centuries, is that any worse than a crisp packet that I throw into the bin at home, which then gets carted off to a landfill site, or burned, or even shipped off to some poor country for poor people to deal with? It doesn't seem much better, does it? And what it actually does, though, is it raises more questions about our single-use, throwaway lifestyles. Buy stuff, use it, chuck it, repeat. And the implications from that are undeniable and massive. It's also worth considering, though, why I'm such a good boy who takes my litter home or picks up other people's litter on thrilling, soon-to-be viral YouTube videos, and yet lots of other people don't do that. Who dropped this crisp packet? I mean, I would also add who chose sizzling king prawn flavour crisp. That's a sin against humanity in itself. But who dropped that crisp packet, and why did they do it? And there's many reasons, of course, but I think a lot of them fall under the general umbrella of nature disconnection. And people have become so disconnected from the wild world, feeling no sense of responsibility, of belonging or caring about it. And if we don't care about the natural world, then we're unlikely to live lifestyles, take action, or cast votes that put the planet as a priority. And so, as we're now in the midst of a literal existential crisis due to the way we're treating the Earth, then tackling society's disconnection from nature feels pretty critical to me if we're going to get enough people engaged to care and to make the changes that nature, society and the planet so desperately need. Okay, so now I ask, why is our crisp packet dropper so disconnected from the world that they don't give a damn? You know, there's all sorts of villains that we can blame here that together, I guess, add up to our sedentary, indoor sheltered, inactive, antiseptic, sterilised lifestyles. The curse of all sorts of mental flabbiness. And, you know, there's also the big issues here as well of access to nature, with so much of our countryside fenced off from the common man. Keep out signs everywhere don't exactly encourage a communal sense of pride and stewardship. And there are huge restrictions on the space that we have to roam, to wander, to learn to love and care for nature. And sadly, our countryside is not equally accessible to everyone. And the injustices of that inequality magnify some of the other problems that I've been rambling on about here. So, to finish up, for my mocking friend, he does have a point. You know, littering and the issues that ripple off from it might not seem as urgent or instantly horrific as other global crises. While I'm out here picking up litter rather than campaigning to end wars or searching for a cure to heart disease, I don't deny that whatever I do will be insignificant, but it still feels important that I do it. This litter is connected to the lifestyles that our society has slipped into living, and they're disastrous for our physical and mental health, and for the health of our nature and the planet as a whole. And on top of this, our disconnection from the natural world means that we don't see what's going wrong, or we don't care much, and we certainly don't take enough individual, collective or governmental responsibility and action to sort it all out. And if we don't sort out what we're doing to the climate and the natural world, then the problems that are coming down the line to us in terms of famines, rising sea levels, mass migrations, climate refugees, water wars, colossal cost to economies, heat waves, flooding, the collapse of the soil and agriculture, and suddenly all that starts to look to me like issues that certainly are worth spending my days banging on about and picking up a few crisp packets. What do you think? Let me know. Rant over.